Henry has called from Chelsea. We're talking about voter registration. Hi, Henry.
Good afternoon, Sheila. Thank you very much for having me on. I am a first-time caller.
You're very
welcome. Thank you. I am indeed, I'm young and I'm registered to vote, but I'm not, as of yet, massively inspired. And why do I say that? Well, of course, I'm talking at a time when trust in politics and politicians is at a record low. But as far as I see, I don't see any real ideological difference between the two main parties. And why do I say that? Personally, I don't have much enthusiasm for Keir Starmer himself, and it's hard to see what he really stands for. I mean, he's U-turned on his flagship green policy, on his tuition fees, and I don't see much talent on the Labour front bench. And as far as I'm concerned, they won't be massively different in government to the Tories. And it is, of course, the Tories, their brand, their reputation is completely ruined after years and years of lying to the electorate in manifestos. And that, I think, is why Reform are doing so well.
Tell me what appeals to you about Reform.
Well, it's not even what personally appeals to me, but I think they are successfully capturing on the disenchantment in politics at the moment. I think we're at a time where to get out of this rut that we face, the rut that Britain faced, we need strong leadership and we need radicalism. We saw it with Blair socially, we saw it with Thatcher economically, and we are at a time now where we have to not even grow out of this, but we need radicalism and we need strong leadership, not someone who conceals their opinions and seeks only to appease the people around them.
What radical policies do you think would, whichever party might come up with them, would move Britain on?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we saw the Reform Manifesto, or what they call the contract with the people. It was launched in Wales, and Wales, of course, is the area where, compared to England, education standards are worse. Taxes are higher. The NHS records and delivery, as well as the waiting list, are much longer.
Yeah, I know that's the list of problems, but I'm just wondering what you, as a younger person, and you're the person who's going to inherit the problems, aren't you? In the fullness of time, what radicalism do you want to see? What would that look like? In what areas would it be in? Do you think?
I mean, so. Yeah, thank you. So, I mean, starting you talking about inheritance, I think Reform only introducing inheritance tax after on estates over £2 million is well worth it. It is, of course, the second most unpopular tax, the grief tax, and I think that is good. People shouldn't be taxed twice as per se. And also, going on to tax, I think it's important, the radical policy, which I think soon will become very popular, to make work pay by lifting the first threshold of tax to £20,000. That is the type of thing, that is the type of radicalism we need to see. And also, I think it's important to talk about migration, because this is what they call it the migration election.
Everybody is. I mean, Nigel Farage likes to think he's the only person that is, but everybody's talking about it.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Well, everybody's talking about it, but not a lot of people seem to have any ideas to fix it. I mean, the Conservatives have presided over the most liberal immigration policy ever, and it was, of course, started by Tony Blair in the 90s. And so Reform's policy of net migration to zero... Which,
well, it was a different thing, wasn't it, really? Because it was there was freedom of movement then. So it happened largely through freedom of movement, but that's completely changed since Brexit. Now we have to go looking for people because we don't have that reliance on European talent.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think even with a net zero migration, there is still plenty of room for people with skills, with the talent that we would like. I mean, about 500,000 people leave the country every year, and that's still plenty of room to attract the people that we would like. And of course, the population pressures affect lots of aspects of our daily lives.
So you're not sure you'll vote?
I'm not entirely convinced by Reform solely because I'm not certain their sums add up. That is the bottom line. But then again,
nobody's sums add up, Henry.
Exactly, as you say, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, but you sound like you're giving it a great kick. Can I ask how old you are, Henry?
So I'm 19.
19, gosh.
First year of university.
Yeah. Enjoying it?
I love it. Not much work, but I love it.
You'll get round to the work eventually. Yeah. You've worked quite enough at school. Give it at least another year and then start doing the work. Yeah.
Exactly.
And what's your area of interest at uni? I'm sorry, that
politics.
Sounds like it's a personal question. It's not.
Yeah,
I mean your subject.
Yes, I do study politics, and as I say, I'm always have been interested in that. And I just want to quickly get onto the private school thing, which I know it was mentioned in the last segment, but I have a real bone to pick with that because, first of all, do we want to live in a country where there is a kind of punishment of aspiration? And of course, private schools do quite a lot. They give out a lot of value in bursaries and scholarships each year. And of course, the static forecasts that Labour produce, which say that it will kind of earn their money, I think it will actually cost the Treasury because, of course, the static forecasts don't account for the shift of people from the state sector into the private sector.
Do you think it's just bad policy, in your view?
Economically, yes. And in terms of appearance and outlook, I think it, as I say, punishes aspiration. And I'm not sure why it's Keir Starmer who's doing it, when, of course, I think he was at Reigate Grammar, and when it went independent, he was actually offered a scholarship himself. So it's just slightly confusing to me.
Well, you don't have to make your policy entirely out of your own lived experience, do you?
No, you're right. That is true.
Enjoy the rest of your time at uni, Henry.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure. See if you can bring yourself to vote. Don't waste your vote. People died for your vote, Henry.
Absolutely.
Go and vote. Thanks very much indeed for your call, Henry in Chelsea. Let's talk to Milad in Chiswick. I feel like I'm saying hello, Milad. Hello, Milad. Hello.
Hi, Sheila. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks, yeah.
I basically I wanted to pick up a few of the points that Henry, the first-time caller, who is a prospective candidate to maybe be Prime Minister one day for the Reform Party,